What are you doing?
Let me clean this up.
Why?
Because we did that for you.
See, that's a stereotype right there, a Virgo that wants to clean everything. All right, so he cleaned the setup, so I'm back. Hi guys, it's Kahlen Barry. Welcome to my channel if you're new here. If you know who I am, welcome back to my channel. Today I am back with another astrology / zodiac video. I mean, what else am I gonna post at this point? Like, that's all I post is fucking astrology videos. Self-drag. But anyway, today I want to talk about the biggest stereotypes of every single zodiac sign. So I'm even guilty myself of using some of the stereotypes in my videos, so some of y'all gonna be in the comments like, but bitch, you be saying this about us, because sometimes it be true. But the thing about astrology is that it's so complex, you can't really just base everything on your sun sign. There's just so many different factors in your chart that really make up the person you are. So you can be a Virgo and not be like a Virgo at all. And so that's why I kind of want to make this video to say not all Virgos are this way, not all Geminis are this way, and to kind of like defend y'all a little bit against, you know, the common things that people think about you before they actually get to know you. But before we get into this video, I'm super excited to make a little announcement. Auditions for my new reality show, Battle of the Zodiac, are now open, so let me tell you a little bit about my show. So basically this show is going to be hosted on Zoom. I kind of realized during quarantine we're all bored, you know what I mean? And all the content that you see on TV now is all on Zoom. Like, everyone needs to practice social distancing, so there's no way that people can actually get together and do it. So it doesn't seem very out of the ordinary. And so I thought now would be a perfect opportunity to make something to entertain everybody, give somebody something to watch, to get invested in. You know, we all love a good reality show, but then also something that I can bring some of my viewers on and do something with them and create a project that's really, really fun with them. But I just want to make it known I don't want to like set any dates or set any expectations that I can't meet. For me, it's important for me to only do things that I know for a fact that are going to be done the way they're supposed to be done. So as of now, the only thing that I can really say is that auditions are being held right now. So I'm gonna actually tell you guys the audition requirements because a lot of people were asking me questions on Snapchat, on Instagram DMs, and just wanted me to just really tell them what's going on with the show. And they just wanted a little bit more insight on the show as well as like what I'm really looking for in a contestant. So I'm gonna read you the flyer and I'll show it on here while I read it. The first thing that I wanna know is what your zodiac sign is. How would you say you relate to or don't relate to your zodiac sign? Have you ever watched strategy-based games such as The Challenge, Big Brother, or Survivor? Have you ever been told you're good at working with others? Be honest, we want the real tea. And this is really, really important, and I cannot stress this enough. I am looking for somebody to be true to themselves. Do not tell me what you think I want to hear. Be yourself. That's what makes you great. The best way you can sell yourself is to be honest with yourself, you know? I don't want you to go on audition and try to play a character that you just aren't, because I'll be able to tell. And also, it's just not good. It's not good for the show for me to cast somebody who acts one way in audition and I'm expecting one thing, and then you get on the show and you're not anything like that. So just be real, you know? Like, no answer is a wrong answer. Like, if you have been told you're not good at working with others, great, that's okay. That makes for some tea on a show sometime. Like, you can't work well with others? Ooh, well shit. On this show, there's gonna be group teams. Maybe that is gonna cause some chaos. But if you are good at working with others, then that's great as well. So there's like no wrong answer. Don't like feel pressure to like say what you think I wanna hear, basically. Describe yourself and your personality in 5 words. What is the biggest misconception people have about you? What is your biggest pet peeve? And what kind of personalities bother you most in life? I noticed that this is like the funniest part of all the auditions. And this is the part that really just like shows a lot of your personality, because what you hate, like, and the things that you don't like in life sometimes speak louder than the things you love, because sometimes hate is a lot louder than love. And the last thing is, are you good at keeping secrets? Because there is going to be a twist in this game involving secrets. I'm not gonna say too much about it, but yeah. And also just feel free to tell us more about yourself, like anything that you think that we should know about you, anything that you think would interest us. But yeah, I'm hosting auditions for Battle of the Zodiac right now. The deadline is April 28th. I will say this, the sooner you can get your audition tapes in, the better. But I'm still figuring all the details out of this show right now. Like I said, I just want to see audition tapes. Like, I don't have much to give you yet. However, I will keep everybody updated on the status of the show. But like I said, I'm just really like feeling the situation out, seeing if it's actually like workable and realistic, and not trying to jump the gun on anything, you know? Submit your auditions. I want to see them. You can email them at battleofthezodiac@gmail.com. I'm really, really excited for the potential of what this could be. All right, now that we've talked about that, let's get into the zodiac signs' biggest stereotypes. We're gonna start with Aries as usual. The biggest stereotype surrounding Aries is that they're aggressive. And so like, this is a big thing you'll see a lot. Like, obviously Aries are very, very, very passionate. They care a lot. Sometimes they can get defensive because of how much they care. Like sometimes it feels like people are just like coming for their throat and coming for their life. And it's just like they care so much that things hurt them probably more than other people. However, a lot of times when they're passionate about something, people can mistake that for anger and aggression. So basically the biggest stereotype about Aries is that they're hot-headed, and that's not necessarily true. Sometimes sis, yes, they can be, but like I said, there are different types of Aries, and Aries people just care. Like there's just a fire in them. So sometimes fire can come off as like really loud to some people, and to some people who get it, it's like, oh, I understand. But another thing that I would say is a stereotype about Aries is that they have no self-control. Yes, they can be impulsive. Yes, they can be quick to jump the gun. Like I even just said about the show earlier, like, girl, I have to wait a second before I fully decide if I'm gonna do this, because like that Aries in me wants to jump the gun and just like, yeah, I'm doing this, and like come out with all these dates and whatever, but like I have to like know that I shouldn't do that. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that I don't have self-control, because the fact that I'm even able to think about that shows that I do. But it is often a stereotype that Aries people don't have self-control, and that they can't control their emotions, and they can't control their anger, and they can't control their decisions. Like they're just fucking firecrackers that just spark off whenever the fuck, and they're just unpredictable. When in reality, they're actually very intelligent, and they do have a lot of self-control, because sometimes they want to pop the fuck off on a person, and they will hold back even when they really don't want to. But sometimes you might find them on the right day and they'll get you together. So now on to Taurus. One of the biggest stereotypes about Tauruses, and I just think it's just not fair at all, is that Tauruses are lazy. Wanting to be comfortable and wanting to excel in an environment where you feel comfortable doesn't make you lazy. Like that's the thing. Taurus people just don't put up with as much bullshit in environments that they don't want to be in. If they don't want to be in an environment, they're not going to put themselves in it. You know what I mean? That doesn't make you lazy. That just means that you know where you excel in. Like you know your strengths and you know your weaknesses. Also, Tauruses are one of the hardest working signs, like out of everybody. They're usually hella successful and they get shit done. They know how to get shit done. Like they will stress themselves the fuck out. And even though I said they like being comfortable, it doesn't mean they always just fucking have the luxury to do it. Like they will stress themselves the hell out to get a task done, and then they'll go home and they'll have their little spa day and they'll do their little face mask and they'll lay in bed and watch a show because they deserve it. Like they deserve to have self-care after all the shit they go through. Don't get it twisted. They know how to work, and they have a very strong work ethic. They just respect their boundaries, and they just know what doesn't work for them and what does, and they make sure to take care of themselves. And honestly, that's like a big thing. Everybody should do that. Everyone should make sure they take care of themselves at the end of the day. You can only push yourself so hard before you snap. So now on to Gemini. The biggest stereotype about us is that we're two-faced, and I just like really hate that one so much, because obviously yes, some Geminis can be fake as hell, but so can everyone, okay? I think a lot of the reason why there's a stereotype about Geminis is because of how diverse their ideas can expand. They're so open-minded that you can have a conversation with them and they can actually agree with some of the things that you're saying, but then they can have a conversation with somebody else and agree with some of the things that they're saying. But it's not like I'm like, I believe in this to you and then I believe in this to you. Like, no, we are just really adaptable, so we're able to change our ideas. And that doesn't make you fake. That just means that you're able to change and you're able to evolve. And some bitches don't know how to do that, okay? But also they're ruled by Mercury, so they're good at communicating. They're good at getting their words across to people who some people might not be able to get their words across to. Like, I could have a conversation with the most stubborn motherfucker and my words can still reach them to some extent, and we can still somewhat meet on some similar ground. And that's because of the ability for Geminis to place themselves in other people's shoes and to really like see other people's perspectives. They're a chameleon in that way. They know how to adapt to the environments that they're in. And of course, some people are going to see that as fake because some people don't have the emotional intelligence to do that. Also, something that I will say that is the fault of Geminis is the desire for other people to like them and understand them. So sometimes people take that as being two-faced because they do want to get along with everybody. They don't really like to have drama with people. So like, if you have a beef with somebody, it doesn't mean that a Gemini person is about to go over there and just have beef with them too. But at the same time, they do have a loyalty. It's just that they don't feel the need to go above and beyond that. You know what I mean? So yeah, the two-faced thing, I feel like that's some bullshit. So now on to Cancer. The biggest stereotype about Cancers, obviously, is that they're crybabies. Now, Cancers are very emotional. We've talked about this in my other videos. They're very sensitive to other people's emotions as well. They're very compassionate, and that's not a bad thing. It's kind of sad that like people view you being an emotional person as like bad. But anyway, getting into the stereotype that they're all crybabies is so far from the truth, because Cancers are actually one of the most shelled signs. So even though they do cry, and obviously I've joked about it in the past in some of my videos as well, they also have walls up so high that like not everybody even sees that part of them. Like they're not just gonna cry in front of everybody and show that sign to them that they view as weakness. They know how to control their emotions more than people give them credit for. There are definitely two types of Cancers. I know some Cancers that do cry all the time and they don't care about doing it in front of other people, but then I also know Cancers that don't show you anything, like no emotion, like stone cold, because they're just afraid of like being judged, I think, but also they're afraid of being hurt. So like they just put their walls up. They're crabs after all, so just like Scorpios, they have a shell. So now on to Leo. The biggest stereotype about you guys is that you're narcissistic and self-centered. That is like such a misconception about Leos, because they are literally some of the most selfless people there are. Like Leos literally give everything they have to people who give them nothing. They're loyal to bitches that don't know shit about loyalty. And as a Leo in Venus, I can relate to this. Leo people like to feel assured. So yes, they like compliments because it makes them feel like they're appreciated. And that's not like they just want to be the fucking star of the show all the time like people think. Even though there are Leos like that, they're actually not as confident as they would like you to think. And therefore they're not as cocky as other people perceive them to be. A lot of that is them faking it till they make it. Like if they feel like, you know, I'm that bitch, like I'm this, whatever, like eventually, you know, they will be that. But at the end of the day, they definitely still have insecurities just like everybody else. And when people remind them of how much they appreciate them and how much they care about them, it's just nice as a Leo person to feel wanted and to feel valued and to feel like you are appreciated. And so that's why a Leo person will cut somebody off if they're not giving them what they feel like they deserve. So that's like a great thing about them. But at the same time, they constantly stick their neck out for people who just don't do nearly the same, like don't give them the same energy. And that's like a lot of times why you'll see Leo people just feel hurt by people and disappointed by people. Cause it's like once they are for you, they are for you. They will literally whoop somebody's ass if somebody comes and disrespects their friends or their relationship or anything. Like they do not play about that. So when people say that Leos are self-centered, it's like a slap in the face, because it's like, really, bitch? After all the shit I did for you, they're gonna sit here and call me self-centered because I finally decided to demand better for myself? So now on to Virgo. The biggest stereotype about Virgos is that they're always clean, and also that they're control freaks. Even though typically Virgos are more organized and they're really, really good at turning chaos into order, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're clean, because there are different ways that you can be organized. You can literally be an organized mess. And a lot of times Virgos are. I think the idea that Virgos are just always like cleaning the house and sweeping everything up and blah, blah, blah. Like, yes, there are Virgos that do that, and that is a thing. Like there are a lot of Virgos that get very, very annoyed if the dishes aren't washed or if the house is a mess. But then there are Virgos that literally live in a mess. They don't give a shit. And also them being perceived as control freaks, that can definitely be untrue. Virgos are service signs, so the main thing is that they want to feel of help. And yes, sometimes that can make them come off as control freaks, because everything that you do, they want to add some input to, or they want to try to like add their 2 cents or try to contribute. But that's the thing, they're trying to contribute. They mean well by it, even though it doesn't always come off that way. When you have an idea and you're set with the idea you want and they have something to say, it's like, bitch, leave me the fuck alone, let me do my own thing. So now on to Libra. The biggest stereotype about Libras is that they're wishy-washy. I've actually talked about this before because it's kind of similar in a way to Gemini. It's like kind of an air sign thing in general, that Libra people just want to have balance and they want to have harmony and peace. And so when people are arguing, they typically tend to be neutral, or they can tend to play the defense of somebody else, even if they don't believe in that argument. And so sometimes it's like, girl, what do you believe in? Like, you know what I'm saying? But for Libras, the reason why they do that is because they just want to make sure that everyone's voice is heard. And so the reason why people think they're wishy-washy is because they are actually able to see both arguments and actually have conversations with both people of both arguments and see their point of view. They can play the defense of anything. That's why they make for really good fucking lawyers. But at the end of the day, when they love somebody, they love somebody, and they're loyal to the people they actually love and care about, and their friends that are real, genuine friendships, they are loyal to those. Even if it feels like they aren't. Because sometimes when you're having arguments and they give you an opposition, it feels like, girl, when are you ever gonna be on my team? To them, it doesn't matter who you are. They just need to make sure that everyone gets a fair chance. And that's just how they are. You just gotta deal with it. So now onto Scorpio. So the biggest stereotype about Scorpios is that they're manipulative, that they're evil, and they're calculated. They're just sneaky motherfuckers that are up to no good constantly. Like, don't trust the fucking Scorpio because they're not worth being trusted, basically. And I definitely think that is very far from the truth. Those Scorpio people can get their motherfucking revenge, and they can be petty, like we've talked about. If you do right by a Scorpio, they're never gonna do you wrong. You know what I mean? Like, they are very, very, very loyal, and they care about people. They actually care too fucking much. That's the reason why when you do fuck them over, that they gotta get the revenge, because it's like, I cared so fucking much, like, damn, like, it hurts so much, like, I need to fucking do something about it. You know what I mean? But to assume that they're just like sneaky and there's something about them that's shady, it's like, no, they're just more reserved. That's the big thing about Scorpios, is that they protect their emotions, and they protect themselves, and they are shelled. And so they're very selective about who they show a certain side of themselves to. But that can come off to other people as emotionless, and so that's where people get like, there's just something about them that's really shady. Like, I'm having a conversation with them and they're just showing nothing. And that's something that Scorpio people probably have to deal with a lot, is like, I actually do care, girl, but you just gotta give me some time so you can really, really, really get to know me. Like, you don't just meet a Scorpio from a first impression and get to run with that. Like, that's definitely not fully true to who they are. There's layers, sis. And that's why like a lot of people think they're like intimidating, because you'll walk up to them for the first time if you don't know them, and like you'll be like, do they hate me? Do they love me? Like, girl, they keep their cards over here. Like, you're gonna have to wait, and then maybe they'll show that they actually really, really have a crush on you. You never fucking know, okay? But they're not just about to fucking show their cards when they're playing boo. They gotta have a poker face. So now on to Sagittarius. The biggest stereotype about Sagittarius is that they're cheaters. Now, there are definitely some Sagittariuses, like especially celebrity Sagittarius, we ain't gonna say names or nothing, that have been known to do some cheating, you know? And I think a lot of the reason why people have this stereotype about Sagittarius is that they're known to not be as committed to things. But the thing about that, and I've talked about this in the past as well, is that yes, Sagittarius people do not commit as much as other people, like especially when they don't give a fuck about the situation. But the thing is, when Sagittarius people actually care a lot about something, they do commit to it. Like, they will see it through. They're a fire sign after all, so they have all the ambition, all the drive to get shit done. And if they're in love with somebody, they have all the ambition, all the drive to see it through the end. So the assumption that all Sagittarius are cheaters isn't fair. The ones that are cheaters are usually the ones who are with somebody that they didn't really care about anyway. So like, they're just more likely to cheat because they're less likely to pretend that they care about something they don't. Which is still fucked anyway. Like, don't fucking date somebody and play with their feelings. But just in general, like, they're not gonna be fake. Like, it is what it is. Like, if they care about something, they care about it. They don't, they don't. Like, that cannot be just a relationship. That can literally be schoolwork. If they don't give a fuck about the class, then, you know, like, maybe they'll be annoyed. Like, they'll still get it done if they feel like they have to, but at the end of the day, like, they try not to do things, for the most part, that they're being forced to, and that feels like a chore. Like, they want to actually enjoy the things that they do. And so that's where that commitment thing comes in. It's because they feel like life's too short to do things that doesn't make them happy. Like, they're free-spirited people in that way. So now on to Capricorn. The biggest assumption about Capricorns is that they don't give a shit about anything that isn't business, that they're ruthless, that they're selfish, and that they're always serious, and that's definitely far from the truth. Capricorn people know how to get shit done. They are ambitious as hell, and that's something that I've always admired about them. However, they also like to surround themselves with people who are entertaining, who are goofy, who are silly, because they have that part of them as well, and they love to be silly. They love to surround themselves with people who make them laugh. Like, they like to have a good time. The assumption that Capricorn people are always serious and that they just are no fun is like, no. They just know when to be serious and when not to be. They're very aware of that. They're very aware of when they need to get shit done and when they can have free time to do what they want. That doesn't mean that they are fucking buzzkills. And also the ruthless and selfish part, just because they care about their career doesn't mean that they don't care about other things. And like that's something that Capricorn people will probably have to deal with a lot, is like the assumption that the only thing they care about in life is their career. They are career driven, they are career focused, there's nothing wrong with being that way, but they still want love. It's just like everybody else. They shouldn't have to compromise their dreams to be with somebody. Like they should be able to go see out their dreams, go do what they have to do, and still have somebody there for them. And I think that's what they crave. And I think that's what they look for. They don't want to be lonely, but sometimes it's just hard to balance things. But one thing I will say though is that when they commit to something, they commit to it. So whether that is a relationship, whether that is, you know, a business, whether it's their career, whatever, they are looking for something concrete and stable. And as a result, they can sometimes have high expectations because they know what they deserve. You know what I mean? But anyway, now on to Aquarius. The biggest stereotype about Aquarius is that they just have no emotions, that they're just there, like that they're in the fucking corner. I'm in the corner watching you kiss her. Like, no. Like, they do give people their space. That's the one thing I'll say about Aquarius. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of people just assume Aquarius people don't want to be somewhere, or they don't want to be invited somewhere. They don't want to be a part of something. So people just dismiss them in a way, and it's really fucked up. Like, people count them out before they even get a chance to show, like, who they are and what they're capable of. But going back to they have no emotions, like that's like a big thing. Like they're human just like everybody else. Everybody has emotions. They do care about people. They care about things. I think to assume they don't, it's just wrong. Like there's literally a thing where people call Aquarius aliens. It just shows like how much they're alienated. Girl, I know I pulled that out of my ass, but it's the truth though, that's the tea. They're a fun fucking time. It's like you just have to give them a chance. They're honestly some of the most witty, quirky, funny motherfuckers that like I've ever met in my life. So now on to the last zodiac sign, Pisces. The biggest stereotype about Pisces to me is one, that they can't do anything and that they're helpless. A lot of that comes from them though, because sometimes you think that Pisces don't know how to do something, and maybe that's what they want you to motherfucking think, because they want you to do it. They're a lot smarter than people give them credit for. And that's kind of another stereotype about them, is that they're airheads, similar to what some people think about Sagittarius is. No, they're not. They're sensitive and they are very fucking intuitive, like literally one of the smartest signs because of that. The level of emotional intelligence that they have is fucking insane. Sorry I'm editing and I look like a hot fucking mess because I can't get my hair cut because of quarantine, but anyway. Yeah, Pisces are literally like psychic as hell sometimes, and like they're very in tune with the universe, and that just like really goes to show just how emotionally intelligent they really are. They're definitely empaths by nature. Alright, that is the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure to slap that like button, also subscribe and tap that bell to be notified every single time that I upload a new video. I upload astrology videos every single Thursday or on Friday if I flop, which I know I flopped today. I already know, girl, because I'm filming this on Thursday. Also, make sure to go submit your auditions for Battle of the Zodiac. And if you want to catch up on any of my other astrology videos that you may have not watched, you can click the playlist at the end of this video. I love you guys so much, and I will see you super soon with a new video. Bye.